Hi, I'm Steve Link from Cornerstone Advisors Asset Management in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. And joining me again today is my colleague, Angela Ost, who manages the planned giving administration of many of our nonprofit clients. We are pleased to be with you today as part of an ongoing series on behalf of Wayne County Community Foundation.
Thank you so much, Steve, for having me today. Today's topic in this series is tax disadvantage assets. And before we get started, Steve, any disclaimers you'd like to throw out there?
As always. So if you've viewed any of the other videos, you know Angela and I are not tax attorneys, we're not estate attorneys, we're not tax advisors or licensed investment managers. We are here to share our multi-decade combined experience working with nonprofits and individuals who wish to be philanthropic to nonprofit entities as you consider your own long-term planning.
Excellent. Thank you for that. So let's jump in. How can people extend the impact of their assets for loved ones when they have a mix of highly appreciated property and income tax deferred retirement plans? What are your thoughts on that?
Sure, this can be a complicated topic, but I think there's some pretty straightforward guidelines that people, if they keep them in mind, will allow them to maximize the value of what's in their estate for the individuals and organizations they wish to benefit. As many in the audience that are viewing this may know, pension funds have been waning over the years. Fewer and fewer companies or organizations offer pension funds, and there's been an increasing growth in the tax-deferred retirement plan assets where we put, as individuals, money into a tax-deferred plan. It grows without taxation, and then in retirement, starting at age 70 and a half, we can start withdrawing money from it, on which we will pay income tax at whatever our tax rate is at that point. This asset used to be relatively small in comparison to many Americans' investment in their homes or other stock portfolio, that kind of thing. It has become a significant portion of many Americans' total net worth. And for that reason alone, it's really important to think carefully about how you're going to allocate these resources at your passing to make sure that they have the maximum impact. It's great if you want to remember somebody and give them a portion of your retirement plan assets. They're probably only going to get 30 to 40 cents on each dollar because they will have to pay the income tax. And if your estate is subject to estate tax. Charities, on the other hand, get 100 cents on the dollar of a retirement plan asset because they're a non-tax entity. So if you have an interest in both charities and individuals, it's best to split your retirement plan assets into two buckets. They can be invested in a mirror kind of way where they have the same investment approach, but one is going to go strictly to charity and the other is going to go to individuals. And it's whatever percentage you want to go to those two component groups. But it's important to separate it because charity will get paid out immediately, and you don't want to inadvertently have your heirs have to take all the money out in 1 year because it will push them into a higher tax bracket by many standards and force them to pay much more tax than if they're able to spread it out over the current 10 years that Congress permits people who receive an inherited IRA to take the money out. For it to go to charity during your lifetime, you need to have an IRA. That's the only retirement, tax-deferred retirement plan that allows an individual during their life to send money to charity and not recognize it as income first. I think that this is probably a good stopping point. Do you have other questions, Angela?
I do. So it sounds like there's probably a specific way to direct those retirement assets, whether it's age or amount or just the way that you're structuring. Can you talk on that a little bit?
Sure. In addition to making sure your beneficiary designations are up to date and that all the people you've named are still living and they're still people you wish to benefit, and likewise, all the organizations you've named still exist and are still your intended recipients, you have some options starting at 70 and a half. And there may be some confusion because at the end of 2022, Congress and the president signed the Secure Act 2.0, which allowed individuals to postpone taking a required minimum distribution until age 73, and that will rise over the coming decade to age 75. One thing that did not change, however, is that you may make a gift to charity starting at age 70 and a half. That remains the same. If you don't need the funds that are in your retirement plan your retirement plan, and you want to make a gift to charity, you can use that almost as a checkbook to support charity up to $100,000 total in a given year. That is not a tax deductible gift. It's not like you get a tax deduction on your income tax return, but it is not added into your adjusted gross income. So it doesn't bump you up into a higher taxation bracket for consideration of the Social Security taxes and your medical taxes. Secondly, starting at age 73 now, you must take a required minimum distribution. RMD is the short version of that. And if you don't need it and you don't want that additional income showing up in your adjusted gross income, you may basically write a check directly from your IRA through charity and do something that's going to have impact in the community or a cause that's important to you. So these are some options to keep in mind. The other thing to keep in mind is that, Congress is changing the tax laws on a fairly regular basis. And while we're having a conversation today talking about what the tax law is today, it's important to go back to your professional advisors every few years, if not every year, to double check and make sure everything is set up properly for you.
Absolutely. I don't think we can emphasize that enough, that it's so important to make sure that all of your advisors, your entire advisor team is on the same page. We've seen, people's plans not get executed exactly how we think they may have wanted them because people didn't know their entire plan. So make sure everybody's on the same page so that donor's wishes are carried out as efficiently and correctly as possible.
And I guess one final point that I would offer is that it's important that you not reference your tax disadvantaged plans in your will, because that can have the unexpected or an unintended impact of pulling all of the assets in that tax deferred plan into your estate, and then not affording your heirs the opportunity to spread that out over a 10-year period. So just that's my cautionary tale along with the others.
I was going to say, I always love Steve's cautionary tales. He likes to throw those in with his experiences, and they're always something that we can learn from. So thank you for sharing that, Steve. Thank you for sharing all of your insights and expertise today on this topic. We hope that all of our viewers found it very helpful. We encourage you, again, speak with your professional advisors, or your donors have them speak with their professional advisors. Make sure that everybody's on the same page so that all plans can be carried out as effectively as possible. And thank you for joining us, and we look forward to the next segment.
Thank you.